Welcome to the MailleWerX Chainmail Livestream. My name's Sean. I run MailleWerX.com. And tonight, we're going to make some chainmail. Shocking, I know. Alright. Do the share real quick. Alright. That looks like an experiment gone wrong. So I've got, I think these are 18 gauge 7/32, a little bit bigger than 3/16 and not quite as large as 18 gauge 1/4 inch rings. And I think I have enough to make a coif. We may have to get creative with some other ring sizes moving on, moving forward. But this is a start for now. What I'm doing, I'm going to make 6 triangles, kind of like the juggling balls that we did, except this is European 4-in-1 instead of Trinity. And I've made one other coif this way before, and it worked out really well. This is not a historically accurate way to make a coif. In medieval pieces, and I'm not a historian, so take this with a grain of salt, my understanding is that they used contractions, which is where they would add a ring to a row or subtract a ring from a row in order to get the fit right. Okay, so this is not that method. I like to use seams because I think they're aesthetically pleasing. And you can just, like we did with that big, what are these ring sizes? 11 gauge 3/8. Hey, John. All right, so this is 6 triangles, right? All European 4-in-1 connected with strips of elf weave, it looks like. So it makes a nice textured pattern. I can get some light on this right there. Kind of break up the 4-in-1 a little bit. This bag, it's gonna have to be, I'm gonna have to order some more rings for that one. Hey Rick, hey Peg. You going to taper the pouch to better shape to the head or straight edges? You mean like once I get down to here, am I gonna taper it? Like neck level? You have legs in the making tonight? Eggs, cow legs, everybody. I don't know if I'll taper anything. I'm just gonna make a bucket and then add room, like a mantle if I have enough rings. We'll see. This is one of those, sing it with you, you know how to use them. I didn't realize that that was a song lyric. There's a lot I don't know, so From forehead to chin was traditional to taper in, so the neck had less rings and pull them tighter for setting inside the helmet. No, I'm not gonna do that. This is, I think that's probably beyond my skill, to be quite honest. That goes back to adding and adding and contracting rings to get it to be more form-fitting. ZZ Top. Only can think of pretty women now. These ladies were made for walking. I think that if I tried to form fit it, it would just end up being a disaster. Beyond scratching the surface, I've never done deep dives into historically accurate chainmail. Right? And how, like, I have a basic understanding of, you know, that they used additions and contractions to fit stuff properly. But, and I know how that stuff is done, vaguely. I've never actually managed to do it myself. I would love someday to, you know, be knowledgeable enough to have a nice big hauberk with riveted rings that was historically accurate. I didn't realize how far away you guys are. I cleared off my desk and pushed the computer back. Love you some ZZ Top. You have sent me a lot of links on armor and stuff. Still have all the albums on actual albums? Nice. Up until 94, then everything was tape. Ah, tapes. Then it's CDs. Then, I don't know what, did it go to digital after CDs? So, no, I don't think I'll be form-fitting this at all. I think that that would be too much for me. Once I get, you know, the bulk of the rings that I have, right, used up, then I can start thinking about expanding my skill level and venturing off into other things. But that's a ways off. Skip working on being able to make Cornish rivet mail for yourself next year. Nice. Skipped to 45s and 8 tracks. Didn't buy a whole lot of CDs. Had young kids, not much money then. Now it's all downloads. I had CDs. I had the CD player with the removable face on my radio that I had in a 1992 Geo Metro that I had put a bunch of speakers in with my cousin. He was big into wiring cars with sound. And so I had 1-inch tweeters in the front, 6s in the sides, and 2 12-inch subwoofers in the back of my Geo Metro. That was totally cool. Those speakers rattled the whole damn car to death. I found out towards the end of its life, it had been running on 3 cylinders for quite some time. It was a 4-cylinder car, but it had managed to make do. The stereo in your car has a removable faceplate. I didn't think that they even made those anymore, but I suppose they might. Plenty of vehicles that you can still change up the sound, you know. I just have factory stuff in my truck, and it's good enough for me. My dad was big into sound. You know, he had a record player. He played vinyls, and he had, what is it, the receiver hooked up, you know, to the TV and the DVD player and the speakers and everything later on. And I don't know what they're called, but they're like concert speakers. It's old enough to drink. It's a 2000 Honda. Nice. They're just these big speakers with like wood paneling on the side that he wired it all up for surround sound, and he was always big into that. I'm much more simple. The whole basement down here is wired for sound by the previous owner, and we got a receiver recently, so that we can play music down here. Or if I had a TV down here, we would, you know, hook it up to that. But I have almost never used it. Literally, I have speakers on my computer right in front of me, and I just turn my phone on to like Pandora or a podcast or something if I'm down here and I'm not streaming. And that is enough for me. You know, if I'm ever in a public situation and there's really loud music, I'm probably not going to stay long. Unless, you know, if I'm at a concert, that's one thing. But if I'm at a festival or going listen to live music in a bar, right? Which I haven't done in years. I prefer music that allows me to continue to have a conversation. More years, and your minivan can go out with your core and have some drinks. Nice. You drive a Toyota Yaris. It's a roller skate. Yeah, my first 2 cars were like coffins on wheels, pretty much. I had a 1980 burnt orange Ford Fiesta, and then a 92 Geo Metro. I'm hoping to keep my truck until it's old enough to drink. It's 10 years old now. I just had some work done on it. Max carry weight is 500 pounds. You can't take the whole family shopping and put the groceries in it. Oh, man. Yeah, so my truck's 10 years old, and I've probably mentioned this before, but aside from an electrical harness that had to be replaced, it was fortunately covered under warranty, so it only cost me like $500 for the warranty claim. Aside from that, I just had the brakes and the tires done, and then I just had some shocks replaced and some fluid in the transfer case changed out, and that's all, you know, the maintenance I've had to do to it, you know. So I'm very happy with it. I hope it lives a long, happy life. You had a Fiesta way back, the worst car you ever owned? You called it the Fiasco? Yeah, that sounds about right. You're driving a 96 Chevy Suburban with 3 seats. So, yeah, a small change of driving habits indeed. I couldn't go back to a car at this point. Being that low to the ground and having people with their, you know, trucks like mine shining their lights behind me, I don't miss that at all, and I don't want to go back to it. So as long as I can, as long as I am able, I will forever own a truck. Why you're seeking another van for vending? I think we have 3 more rows to go on this. Yeah, 3 more rows. Which means I should add another row to this to make it even, but we'll figure it out. The girl has a fancy sports car, 2009 Altima. It's fun to drive around. Little Nissan. Looking at more of a cargo van. Even though you have the trailer, your stuff just keeps growing, right? Yep. One day, if MailleWerX is ever successful, which is my goal, despite my lack of attention to it this past year, I would like to have a trailer and my truck wrapped in a 3M vinyl with, you know, my chainmail print designs on them, right? Chuck full to the brim with stuff so that I can go and sell stuff, and also just for advertising in general. You have 5,000 dual axle self-braking trailer to carry your forge setup to and from events for demos. Nice. You like the SUV living in New Hampshire during the winter? I thought, okay, is it Toyota Yaris? Is that a car? That's a car, right? What SUV are you talking about? Is that, I mean, is that just another vehicle you have? I would also like to get the front and rear fender of my gas tank. Ah, you own 3 vehicles, yeah. Okay, it makes more sense in my head now. I would also like to get the front and rear fender and the gas tank of my Road King wrapped in a 3M vinyl chainmail print design. The girl has a sports car and the SUV. Yeah. I want to get the new full-size Bronco. I wasn't sold on the sports edition that they came out with. That was not anything remotely close to what I had been shown when they launched the Bronco. And so now that I've started to see the full-size ones out in the world, I definitely looking into getting one. and that would be like my garage queen vehicle. But I don't have room in my garage because there is Renee's father's vet in there and my Harley. So Yaris would probably be some fun though in some snow with no one around. Is the Yaris front wheel drive? Front wheel drive vehicles in the snow are awesome. Town's amazing on snow removal. 3 years ago they got a snow liquefier. Since then we don't have snowbanks in the town, period. Wow. A snow liquefier. I need one of those. Clear my driveway. You missed your 66 Mustang and 70 Monte Carlo. Kids love them to death, but hard to keep old cars like that with a growing family at the time. Yeah. My dad had some very collectible classic cars back in his day. Like 4 or 5 of them that he went through. That, you know, they would, had he kept them and maintained them, right? And I'm sure he didn't have all 5 at the same time, 4 or 5, however many he had. But had he, you know, been able to keep them all and kept them, you know, well maintained, that's one of those, what's the car auction? The, not McGuire's car auction. Oh, it'll come to me. There's a car auction on some channel, and all of those cars would definitely fit in that auction. I was like, oh my gosh, Dad, why did you give them away? Or why did you sell them? Whatever he did with them. I don't think he wrecked any of them. I'm pretty sure he sold them all. But, you know, he didn't know. You never know what's going to be popular 30 years later. Barrett's. I think that's the one. Midnight, have a bucket loader with flamethrower inside the bucket. You drool watching some of those auctions? Yeah, me too. Some really cool stuff comes along across there. But yeah. If I ever do manage to get a Bronco, and if I ever do get to a point where I can afford to wrap my vehicles, right? I'm torn on if I would wrap the Bronco or not. It'd be cool, right? But I also want that bright yellow paint job that the new Bronco has. If you haven't seen it, it's the one in all the... Oh, it was in all the advertising. It's like, I'm not, like, yellow's not my favorite color, but I had an International Scout 2 that was yellow. And then I had another International Scout 2 that was black with yellow stripes. Gonna grab a bite to eat. Get a bite to eat. Everybody needs a little sustenance. And I suppose I could just make the chainmail design the yellow color I desire, but I don't know if that would have the same effect. One day. Damn it, just fed the vampires. Oh. You okay? The vampires. I'm gonna write that down. Here. All right. 'Tis but a flesh wound. I can't wait till my kid's old enough to watch that show. He's 7 now, so probably another 6 or 7 years. I think I was 9 or 10 when my dad was like, "Yeah, you can watch rated R movies with me. It's fine." And then we watched Alien and Predator, and Eric Whitney has liked the stream. Thank you, Eric Whitney. I like your rings. I need to order more. Shout out to Eric Whitney at ericwhitney.com and his titanium rings. Yeah, so one day, well, I'll have all my vehicles wrapped in really cool chainmail prints. And it'll be awesome. And it'll be great for advertising. And that way, whenever I want to go on a bike ride, I'll just be like, yeah, you know, I can't go to church this Sunday. I gotta go ride my motorcycle to advertise for the business. Think that'll slide? All right. Oh, my foot's going numb. Okay. I've gotta get a lot of stuff done. Only if orders pick up on Sundays. We'll never know until we try. Advertising like that usually has like, okay, so there's, when it comes to marketing, right? Like, say you want to put up a billboard, okay, and it's expensive. They're not cheap, right? But billboard's one of those things that commuters drive by every day and they see it every day, right? And the more they see it, right, the more it's in the back of their mind. And they may not need that product or service or whatever you're selling right then, but, you know, it's a billboard on the side of the highway. They see it, you know, first they're pissed off that they have to look at that advertising on their way to work. Then they kind of just accept it, and then next thing you know, they're thinking about getting whatever the billboard is advertising, you know. And then after, like, I think the return on a billboard is like 3 months. So you don't expect to see profit from a billboard for like a minimum of 3 months, and then after that it's all uphill. Apparently they're very effective tools for marketing. I don't know, I haven't looked into that form of marketing that much, but so I would have to go out like every Sunday for like a year just to, in my little area here, to see if orders would pick up from that. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just, All right. I just need an excuse to go out and ride. That's all. Thinking about doing Sturgis next year. It's in August. I've got to start planning now. And they may already be booked up. I don't know. But I think that would be a fun trip. After my trip riding out to Colorado in September, the thought of, I think it's a 700 or 800 mile ride out to Sturgis from me. That seems much more doable. I don't even think it's that much. Anyway, I don't remember. It's not as far, right? Colorado was a 2-day trip minimum. I did 2 days straight there, and then I did 3 days on the way back because I stopped to see some family on the way back. But as it was, I don't think I could have made it back in 2 days. God, and I was hurting. So, but I think I can take a little bit more time for a Sturgis trip. See, now that would be the place to vend, right? Crank out a bunch of wallet chains and bracelets and necklaces and whatnot. I think that would be a place to do it. I should look into that. But then that would mean not riding out there, or riding out there but having someone else driving the truck and trailer, which is doable if I had a truck and trailer and enough stuff to fill up a trailer. As it is, gotta get through all this stuff down here first, and then we can start making plans for vending, both with MailleWerX stuff and Chainmail. Oh, come on. Don't be shy. I do need to find another form of advertising. I have done Facebook ads in depth, right? And I don't know if the chainmail community is just too small of a niche community, but nothing ever really came to fruition from that. There's something called dynamic advertising, where you put a ton of information describing your product in the back end of Facebook, and they do the targeting for you, and they pick the product and who to show it to, which is not how they did it before, right? But it's supposed to be a newer, better way to go about things. And I can see how it would work for a lot of people. I tried it and I got nowhere, right? But if I want MailleWerX to succeed, I'm gonna have to find a type of advertising that does work. So my next venture will be into Google advertising. We will see. Keyword advertising. I'm not skilled enough at writing for search engine optimization for like free traffic. I don't know enough about blogging or websites to make that work. I've tried to improve my website with what I have figured out as best I can, but nothing has given me that magic bullet where I just get all kinds of traffic, right? So I'm gonna try some Google advertising, which means I gotta figure out all of that next, which is, that'll be a headache. And then, so yeah, try a little Google advertising, see if that works. And then of course, more products and designs. I think I'll feel pretty good once we get to that point, you know. I went through and double checked and made sure all the stuff on the back end of my website was good. I didn't have stuff getting caught in customs. That everything was labeled correctly, and I'm pretty sure I got it all done. Not 100%. It's one of those things that has to be constantly monitored anyway, so eventually I will know that everything is labeled correctly so that it doesn't sit in customs for a month. But that part's done. That took way too long. Alright. Need to add one more row to this one. Yeah, there we go. There we go. I need the length of these two triangles to match, and they're one ring off, so add this row real quick, and then we'll get started on another triangle. And I think this is just, I have a couple of shirts on display over there, and there's like a little hallway that goes in between the two open areas in my basement. The previous owner, while it was cool that he put a bunch of speakers in the walls, did not think through the basement plans very well. Or, you know, he may not have had, you know, the money to do it the way I would have done it, but where the furnace is located in the center of the basement, it's right in the way of everything. It doesn't cost that much to move a furnace, from what I understand. So I would like to not gut the basement completely, but move the furnace out of the way of the middle so that there's a bit more open space down here, and move the laundry room over to the side of the house. So we have a laundry room and the furnace area that they're just in the wrong place. So one day I did get what do you call those things? A toilet roll or toilet paper holder, toilet paper roll holder for my kids' bathroom. The one on there was, well, to be quite frank about it, it was quite sloppily done. But my son had essentially knocked it off quite a while ago. And I was finally able to get that replaced today. And then we have a jetted tub, and the panel on the tub was held on by Velcro. And it worked until it didn't. The Velcro just stopped working one day, and the front panel of the tub just slid down. So I got that fixed up. I had tried to fix it before with some different Velcro, but that failed in like a week. So finally I got some Gorilla Glue tape and packed it in there. So if the jetted tub ever breaks, whoever is going to have to remove that panel is going to have a pain in the ass on their hands, more than likely. Why do I keep closing rings? I don't need to close rings. Not for this. But, and it'll probably be me who has to fix that jetted tub. I'll worry about that at another time. Okay, did it again. And I got some paint swatches. I found the paint color for the basement. There's two colors down here for the basement walls and for the ceiling. And there's a spot above me right here where I had to cut into the ceiling to replace some dryer tubing. And there's one more spot that I had attempted to fix. But the paint, it's obviously the wrong color, right? For the ceiling. So I was able to locate the paint swatches for that. And I know the paint color for this area in the kitchen. The upstairs bathroom flooded. Right. And water got into the paint in the kitchen. Dried out okay, no real problems, but you know, we could not match the paint to save my life. Could not figure out which one of the paint swatches left up from the previous owner is the right paint. So we got as close as we could, and it's just been this kind of off-white spot on the ceiling. Nobody notices it. You just kind of look at it and think it's a trick of the light or something. But I know it's there. And I found a paint swatch called China White that looked like it matched the ceiling. But I can't find the paint swatch now. But I'm going to go and ask for a flat sample of China White from Dutch Boy Paint and see if it matches. And I have horrible luck with paint. Right? Whenever I try to paint, I make a mess. Whenever I go to fix something with paint, it's just a disaster. I'm not too keen on the idea of me painting anything ever. I'm not also not a fan of painting. So, but I'm gonna get some little paint samples, and I'm gonna see if I can kind of clean up some of these splotches on the wall. I am tired of looking at them. Oh, and then I gotta install a ceiling fan this weekend too. Actually, I have to install 2 ceiling fans. The first house you owned, your son thought it would be a good idea to run the upstairs shower with the curtain pulled back. It rained in the downstairs bedroom. Oh no. Your wife stopped you and you had to talk with her. That's good. That's good. Yeah, the water in the ceiling from the upstairs bathroom was from my brother-in-law. He was incredibly drunk and decided it would be a good idea to take a bath. And I woke up with water on my kitchen floor that is directly under that bathroom and a soaked ceiling. We had to redo all the tiles in the bathroom and everything. I say we, Renee did it, but I rented the tile saw, so I helped. Yeah, so I've got to remove a ceiling fan from the guest bedroom and put it in the garage. Remove one of the lights in the garage and put the ceiling fan up there, right? And then I got to put a new ceiling fan, the one that matches all the rest of the ceiling fans in the house, in the guest bedroom. How dare she interfere with important interweb stuff? I did that with when we bought the ceiling fans for the house. We completely forgot about the one in the guest bedroom. I ordered one finally, and it's here. It's been here for a hot minute. I gotta put it up. Hopefully I can do that this weekend, just because it's taking up space. Needs to go. I don't know how I'm gonna get it put up into the garage. I have a ladder that'll go that high, but I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. If I had been smart, when I took out the old ceiling fans over the summer, I would have put them in the garage. But I am not smart, and so I did not do that. And I ended up putting them out on the front yard. And someone came and snagged them up before our trash guy came to pick them up. Prices, ceiling fan prices have gone insane last year. You went to look at one for the kitchen a few months back. The one you've been eyeing was almost 2 times as much. Oh, geez. That's quite the jump. Yeah. Prices on a lot of stuff have gone insane this year. Oh, excuse me. Yep. Like if you look at what is the index? The CPI, the Consumer Products Index, where they figure out, you know, what inflation is for the layman, right? Then it doesn't look that bad. But that's because the stuff on there is like, okay, your subscription service isn't going to change, right? That pizza from Domino's isn't going to change. Okay. The items that they look at in the CPI are it's not that they're not subject to inflation. It's just that, like, they're not subject to the same inflation that affects the housing market or the energy market, right? And so, yeah, you know, if you just go by what CPI says, then yeah, okay, inflation's not that bad. But I think everyone realizes that that's not accurate. Grocery store, yeah, grocery stores went up. You gotta bow out. All right, Rick, have a good night. Oh, Peg's gotta go. Peg, have a good night. You know, the CPI, it's a complete joke because it, yeah, okay, it measures inflation on this basket of goods, but you know, how prone are these basket of goods to inflation, you know? Like your subscription to Netflix, how much is that going to change really, you know? Whereas if you look at, I don't know, real estate, energy, homes in the Hamptons, assets, any type of asset, really, from artworks to like buildings in Manhattan. Those have all gone through the roof. So, oh, I gotta put my leg down. Yeah, what's the... I think the cost of meat has gone up significantly too. That was the biggest one I noticed. To the point where I was like, okay, I need to go hunt a deer next year, because I can't afford all the meat I eat. Used cars too. Youngest is looking to get a new used car, and boy are the prices. Yeah, I thought about selling my truck because it was appreciating in value. It went from like being worth $9,000 or so to $12,000. If it goes up much higher, it might just be stupid to hold on to my truck, you know, and just drive a beater car until something else comes along. But like I mentioned earlier, I've had so few problems with my truck that I don't want to get rid of it. Not yet. Which is, you know, and that's an interesting thing too, that used cars went up in price. What was the cash for clunkers deal where the government gave people money to go buy new cars, and then all the used car lots had tons of surplus that they couldn't sell? And now I think they're all pretty full up now. It's been a hot minute since I've been car shopping, but that was what I was led to believe, is that everyone had plenty of cars to sell. All right. Anyway, it will all level out, whether it wants to or not. I know that Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, like, he just got reappointed to his position, and I know he went from being quite dovish on the current inflation issue and interest rates and the tapering of the printing of the money to quite hawkish on that. But even that doesn't mean much. Hopefully someday sooner rather than later. Yeah, I hope so. It's hard to undo. I think it's something like 40% of all the US dollars ever printed were printed in the last 18 months. At the end of the last administration, the beginning of this one. So that's going to cause a problem. That's going to be a difficult one to get through. Like, you can't just, you know, have zero interest rates or interest rates at 0% and then print all the money you want and not have it affect the economy. It's not how economics works. You hadn't heard that, but you see it the way they've been printing? Yeah. All the quantitative easing that they were doing for forever. And then several of, like, the relief packages for COVID-19 and a bunch of other, what was the freaking $6 trillion package under Trump? I don't remember. But it was a lot of money printed in the last 18 months, and gonna have to figure that one out eventually, right? Like, there's just no getting away from that. I don't think, you know, we're not quite Venezuela or Zimbabwe yet. I don't think that will happen. But you still can't, you know, yeah, you can't print that much money without paying for it in the long run. Because then you get talking about economic collapses and world reserve currency status changes, and stuff happens. And in every economic collapse or times of economic turmoil, right? Like, people get hurt. It's a serious thing. Okay. We are on our way to 3 triangles tonight. Pretty good. I had started one earlier today when I was sitting around after I had done, you know, my chores. After I had done my chores. All right. So with that, it's been a little over an hour. We'll work on this some more, and we'll work more on this Finnegan's Wake flag. And we got lots of other stuff hanging around to chill out and work on. I do appreciate everyone hanging out. I do. Thank you for all the comments, likes, and shares. I do appreciate it. And mentions. I do appreciate the mentions. Okay. We'll get, if I don't have enough rings to make a coif, which I don't know if I do or not, we'll have to figure that out. I will try to order more rings to finish it, but if they're ring lord rings, and I'll have to, I know that they changed up how they do their sizes, so we'll have to order some and see if they match. And if they don't, I have a couple other ring sizes laying around that we can fiddle with, and we'll see what happens. All right. I've made, 3, 4 shirts. Figure I made 1 coif. I should make another one and put them next to the display of my other 3 shirts. So, but with that, be sure to check out MailleWerX.com for all your chainmail themed apparel and accessory needs. And I will talk to you guys later.